U.S.-Israeli relationship is not about a particular party. This isn't a relationship founded on affinity between the Labor Party and the Democratic Party, or Likud and the Republican Party. This is the U.S.-Israeli relationship that extends beyond parties and has to do with that unbreakable bond.
And that is President Obama yesterday in that joint press conference with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, trying to talk up the United States relationship with Israel. But there are political disputes aplenty, perhaps some even of the president's own making. You see the New York Times coverage and the headline, Obama and Netanyahu clash from afar over the planned speech of the Israeli prime minister before a joint session of Congress. So where is this relationship headed? And to answer that, let's bring in the political panel once again and introduce a new member of the panel, an editor for PJ Media, Bridget Johnson, who Skypes in to join the conversation from Washington. Also in Washington, our co-host this hour, former Congressman Bob Walker, and Skyping in from Madison, Wisconsin, decidedly on the left, including screen left, it's our friend Josh Orton. Josh, a whole lot of scrutiny has been given to one group that got State Department funding and is active in, quote, get out the vote operations in Israel. Is that a proper use of American tax dollars?
Well, I think when you hear President Obama speak, I think it's safe to say that he was addressing that almost directly at Speaker Boehner, who has tried to politicize this relationship. I think you've heard reports that Israel itself was perhaps trying to save face by saying that they were not aware that there was not agreement across parties in the United States. I think Boehner has blatantly politicized this relationship. I think that everyone sort of dug themselves the same hole here. I'm not exactly sure the way out. We saw that Vice President Biden won't be attending the speech. So I think we're going to have to sort of reevaluate how to make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
Bridget Johnson, what's your take on all of this?
Well, that's absolutely right. It's not a partisan issue. In fact, if you look at all the Democrats who have been supporting the Menendez-Kirk sanctions bill and the bill that passed 18-4 out of the Senate Banking Committee recently, President Obama is nervous. He knows that if the bill comes up, that it's going to be a veto-proof majority. And Netanyahu's speech is timed perfectly, actually, on March 3rd to coincide with the AIPAC lobbying conference when they're going to be flooding the Hill. And then with Senator Robert Menendez's self-imposed March 25th date to finally let the bill come to the floor. And so you're going to have momentum building up in that time. And Prime Minister Netanyahu is just only going to add to that.
And with about 1:30 remaining, Bob Walker, during our days in Congress, we had some fights with the Clinton administration, but it seemed by and large that the Congress and the White House were one when it came to Israel-America relations. What is this White House missing or failing to take into account in terms of that bipartisan or nonpartisan history?
Well, this is our strongest Democratic ally in the Middle East, and we need to continue to build that relationship. And Speaker Boehner is not the problem. The problem is the president's had a hostile relationship with the government in Israel for some time. And in fact, some of his operatives are the ones who are over in Israel right now trying to defeat Bibi Netanyahu. So I think that what we've got to get back to is an understanding that Israel and the United States have mutual interests in that part of the world that need to be strengthened, not weakened.
Okay, 45 seconds. Very quick answer on this, and I'm going to just keep this to Bridget and Josh. Will this speech by Netanyahu be a great feat, or will it be a flop? Bridget, to you first.
I say it's going to be a great feat. His 2011 speech brought down the House. Yes, you've had a few Democrats who said that they're not going to attend, but those are also ones who have not jumped on board sanctions legislation in any sort of form of support. So I think that there is going to be pressure from within the caucus to attend as well as to not attend.
What about it, Josh Orton? Feat or flop? 15 seconds.
Neither. I think Netanyahu knows that he has to play this down the center because he needs both parties in the United States to support.
And we will leave it there. To Josh and Bridget, our thanks. Bob, thanks for being our co-host this hour, and I'll be back with The Way I See It right after this.